bringing it to them all day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation of Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your endearing starting host, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
Good. You get all your Christmas shopping done, or you have to run out last minute? You procrastinate?
I grabbed a couple of things at Costco today, but for the most part, I am done.
Okay. I know in your house, though, Josh, you are the primary shopper. Is that accurate? Or you do a little half and half?
It's a little half and half nowadays.
Okay. Traditionally, you were been the primary shopper.
Yes. In the past, I was the shopper. Yes.
All right. I have no idea. For when my kids open up presents, it'll be a surprise for me every time.
Well, and that's how it was for our dad growing up.
Yeah. Though, I will say, Josh, I don't know how this is for you. I stayed home this week. I worked from home.
All right. I do that every day.
Okay. Because Emily went to work and my classes are done, so she said grades due.
I have not gone to a job site in 6 months.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
7 months.
Oh, my goodness. Well, good thing you have Costco to go to.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I go to the Costco, the UPS store. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I was shocked and appalled, Josh, by the number of packages. Josh, I'm not even exaggerating. In 2 days, I think the number is 7 or 8 packages in 2 days. Is that insane? I know it's Christmas season.
No,
I understand it's not just Amazon anymore. It's Walmart, it's Target.
We've probably averaged 5 a day.
5 a day.
Yeah. But we get everything now that way. It's either I go to Costco, everything else in my life besides Costco gets delivered to my house.
Yeah.
Our groceries are all delivered. We use Kroger for groceries, so we don't go grocery shopping.
You get your groceries delivered. All right.
Yeah, and then everything's on Amazon.
All right. By truck or by drones? Do they deliver drones? How come that hasn't happened yet? Why aren't drones delivering packages yet?
I believe they just approved Amazon drone delivery in some state that they're going to start testing it.
Sometimes I see these things on X. Like that was one I saw, I feel like 2 years ago, like a drone delivering a package.
Yes. Well, I think
next week it's going to be everywhere, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, Walmart's been doing it with medicines, I believe.
Oh, really?
And yeah.
The other one I saw a year ago, which I thought this thing's going to be everywhere next week, but it's still, I haven't seen anywhere else, is when they showed that Chick-fil-A robot delivering.
Well, they had that is real.
Sandwiches. Is that a thing that's happened?
Yeah, that's in cities.
It's just in cities.
That's in like Washington, D.C., New York City, big cities.
Can I go to Atlanta and get a robot delivered?
Probably in Atlanta. Yeah. Especially the Chick-fil-A robot, they probably have it in Atlanta, would be my guess. Well, I always think back to the fact that 15 years ago, I rode around Vegas in a self-driving car as a demo.
Yeah, that's another example. You would think
this is the future.
Yes.
And it's like, we don't have that yet. So
yeah, we're just so slow with some things.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy, man.
I know. Meanwhile, that's why China's drones are well ahead. Well, so much better than our drones.
Oh, is that a fact?
That's a fact, yeah.
I heard their electric cars are better than ours, too. Cheaper.
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
We got all the gasoline.
Yeah, we don't want the electric stuff. That's another thing. Electric cars have been around for a long time, too.
Yeah. And you know what?
There's an episode of Mr. Rogers.
They can have all that. We'll just take their baseball players.
Well,
I guess that's Japan.
Yeah, let's not lump all Asia together here, Josh.
All right, Japan. Sorry.
We want the Japanese baseball players.
Yes.
Josh, who do you think should be MVP? Is it over Lamar Jackson or that quarterback for the Bills?
That quarterback for the Bills. Josh Allen, you mean?
Josh Allen's the guy.
No, it's back and forth.
Oh, really? I thought everyone's saying it's locked up and Josh Allen won it when he beat the Lions. Is that
I know. I heard that too, except Lamar's having one of the greatest top 5 seasons as a quarterback.
Yeah, he's having a better season than all his other MVP seasons.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? I saw your boys tweet this out.
But that's also where MVP is a little odd, because it's really who makes the biggest impact on their team, not who the best player is in the game.
Record's a big deal.
Yes.
The fact that the Bills have a better record than the Ravens.
That's a big deal for MVP quarterback.
Yes, agreed. You know, I saw your boys' Big Fat Winners tweet out, I think it was a retweet actually, but something about how they don't show highlights of games anymore in the morning. You know, we used to wake up and watch Sports Center, all the highlights of all the games.
No, it's all on YouTube and Shorts and TikTok and all that now.
Yeah, now you turn on ESPN at any moment in the morning, afternoon, evening, and they're debating.
Oh, it's opinion.
Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen all the time.
It's all opinion.
Talking. Yes. There's no highlights anymore.
Correct.
I know no one cares about this.
You'll see some highlights while they're talking about it.
Yeah, in the background. Yeah.
Yes.
But not like full game highlights.
No.
Yeah. This is a problem. I guess everyone goes to YouTube because Silas wanted to watch. Okay, I know no one cares about the NBA Final Cup or whatever, but Silas is kind of into it because he watched some of the early rounds with the Hawks, and so he stayed up to watch the first quarter of the NBA Final Cup or whatever it's called, the
NBA Cup,
the Emirates Cup. It's but he wanted to watch the highlights this morning, and I was like, I don't. And so he had to go to YouTube to find highlights of the game. I guess that's what people do now.
Yeah, or the NBA app. I bet there's an app you can download for the NBA, like baseball.
Yeah, MLB is really good with having those.
Well,
recaps.
MLB was the first to that, and that MLB AM, the advanced media, now powers a lot of the other sports. I believe they power hockey and basketball through their technology.
But they don't have the Sports Center guys or their equivalent in the background talking about the game and kind of building the game up.
No.
It's just like a live feed of the highlights.
Yes. Baseball still does that a little bit at night, where you can get a little MLB Tonight.
Okay.
At night and get a closing out of the games like 10, 11 o'clock at night. They still do a little bit of that.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to figure out how kids today who can't stay up late, how they get their highlights.
YouTube,
and I guess all the apps.
TikTok, Shorts, apps.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Fine. We'll do it that way. But then it makes you very isolated in your sports, right? Like you have to.
Yes.
I would get when we were growing up, we get hockey highlights. Like we were well aware of all sports.
Well, and we would have to watch all the other baseball highlights to see some highlights from the Oriole game.
Right. Yeah, and it made you kind of an all-around fan. Where now you just specifically just watch this one specific thing.
Yes, and that's a problem all across our culture right now.
We don't have well-rounded young people.
We don't. We put everyone in their silos.
Yes. Maybe this is a larger issue here. All right. There's speaking of silos, there's some things I want to talk about today. Did you see my tweet at you? I did. Tweeted at you?
Yes, I did.
Did you read this article?
I did not, because I could tell from the headline that it was a crappy article.
Okay. I want to go line by line with it, Josh. I'm going line by line with this.
It was an article that mentioned sources, but did not imply that they had actual
individual.
A source, even worse.
Yeah.
A source.
Singular. Yeah.
A source, where any news reporting you need multiple sources to verify it. A source is subject to opinion.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that article, take it line by line, because I think it's also, you know what it's done?
This was the article that basically the gist of this article is Mike Elias was given all the money in the world. He refuses to spend it.
Yeah. Well, here's the opening. So let's get into this article, and then we'll talk about the signing of the pitcher.
What's the name of the article and who's it by? Let's do this professionally.
The title of the article,
before we trash the guy.
The title of the article is called Source. Orioles GM unwilling to spend despite green light from owner.
Right. That's what threw me off and why I did not bother to read it, because it's called Source.
In all caps.
Yes.
and it's by Ben Palmer.
And it's from the pitchers list, who I've never heard of pitcherslist.com.
No, but Josh, I'll tell you what happened. If you go right now, and I always do this before the podcast, I type in Orioles into news.
Yeah.
And of course, the first one is about they talk about the Sogonos signing, but then there's all these articles, not just like a bunch of other websites picked up this article. Like Sports Illustrated picked it up, Fansided picked it up, a couple like Yankee blogs picked it up, like a bunch of other people picked up this and are running with it.
Because it spoke to what people want to think. It's what they want to hate. It's what they love to hate.
Yes. And it's really turned me into, and we'll get into why it's turned me into now, I got to be a Mike Elias apologist, because the other side, the anti-Mike Elias side, is so deranged, at least in this article, that even though I've been quick to kind of talk about my concerns with Mike Elias, this article is so insane that it makes me want to defend Mike Elias to death.
All right.
But anyway, the first sentence. So here's the first sentence, and it's not a long. It's not. I think it's like 100. I think it's like 15 sentences. It's not long. But the first sentence is: Baltimore Orioles general manager Mike Elias is unwilling to spend significant amounts of money in free agency this offseason, despite new team owner David Rubenstein's expressed willingness to do so, according to a source close to the Orioles front office.
No, again, if you want to make a real story, you have to tell me the source. This person is not even in the Orioles front office.
Close to the Orioles.
They are close to the Orioles front office. So I don't know if you've ever been over to the warehouse. You go to those upper floors, not only are there employees that sell tickets and packages, there's also other office buildings to other businesses.
This could be our ticker rep Carlos saying all this stuff.
Exactly. This is anybody. He is close to the front office. And then the very next line is, it is a siloed front office. You don't know that. You're not in it.
Yeah, it says the source describes a siloed front office, in which Elias has few checks or balances against his vision for the team. And my thought is, A, yeah, you probably don't know that. But B, because if you're just close, you're not in it. But B, Josh, he is the executive vice president, general manager. He is in charge. What is this? Few checks and balances. What is this? The government? Are we talking about, the different branches of government here? No, he runs the team.
Yes.
All right. So I don't understand what the problem is there, but okay, we'll move on. The vision for the Orioles, which the source described as a vanity project for Elias, is to build, and that's one of the few things that are in quotes.
A vanity project. What does that even mean?
I don't know what that means. Is to build a team that serves as an antithesis to teams like the Yankees and Dodgers, and prove that organization can be built from the ground up rather than purchased through free agency. Again,
that's not a vanity project. That's what you have to do if you're not a large market team.
Yes, and he's not inventing this thing.
No.
We've talked about this for years. He's modeling after the Astros.
It's why we wanted Mike Elias.
Yeah, this is why we did the whole number one farm system team.
Yeah.
This is why we did the whole drafting. This is why we did the whole scouting.
Yes.
For this very reason.
Correct.
And so again, I think that's meant to be an insult, but no, this is why we brought him in.
A vanity project. A bunch of crap.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't read this article, because I knew I'd get irritated.
Yeah, he's probably takes pride in winning despite not being a large market team. Fine.
That's what
he's brought in to do.
As a fan base, that's what we should do also.
Yes.
We should take pride in that.
Yeah, how about this next line, Josh? However, Elias is in over his head in building a major league roster, the source noted. And there is currently no one within the Orioles front office on as close to equal footing as Elias that could serve as a check on his decisions. Instead, Elias is elevating people within the organization who will allow him to maintain his personal vision for the team rather than shaking things up. Okay.
Ben, I don't know Ben Palmer.
I don't know him either. But
he started this article already having an opinion about Mike Elias and not liking his style.
Yeah.
This is very much like this is very much like you see on the political side right now with, well, Trump doesn't do things this way. It's a vanity project.
Right.
And it's like, how have we gone from trust the process, trust Mike Elias, to he is in over his head?
Yeah.
Why? Because we're not paying paying like Steve Cohen?
Well, and this came out, just by the way, this article came out the same week that we did sign 2 free agents. I mean, It might not be the guys you wanted, but we spent money, significant money on Tyler O'Neill and Sanchez.
And guys that make our roster better than last year.
Yeah. Do you think there's any truth to Elias is in over his head and building Major League roster? I think there is. I mean, Josh, there's been some criticism that, and we've talked about on here a bunch, that he is good at developing prospects, good at drafting, good at developing the farm system, analytics, player development, all that stuff. But what we don't know is, can he make the moves to turn us into, World Series contenders and World Series winners? I think we criticized him for that, right?
I think that's a little bit of fair criticism, but don't tell me the guy's over his head because he didn't spend money to bring in Ohtani or Soto, because it doesn't take a genius to sign those guys.
Right. Yeah, we'll get to, there's more on that later. But yeah, and I think like building this team from being, when he came in here in 2019, a laughing stock with kind of nothing to build from, not even any trade chips to work with, into a few years later, a perennial playoff contending team. Like, if you're making the playoffs the last 2 years, that sounds like a Major League roster, right? We're not the White Sox. This is a Major League team here. All right. So it says last year. Oh, and that other day, the idea that Elias is elevating people in the organization who allow him to maintain his personal vision. Like, of course. Why would you hire people who don't believe in what you're doing as a GM? Right. I don't understand that either. So it's the article continues. Quote, last year the Orioles finished their season in second place in the American League East with a 91-71 record before being swept by the Royals in the American Wildcard Series. By contrast, Josh, the Yankees and Dodgers won their respective divisions and faced each other in the World Series, and the Dodgers ultimately won their 8th title. Again, we are not the Dodgers. We're not the Yankees.
Right.
Sorry. I think there's a little bit of complex with Orioles fans, but we're not them. We can't do what they do.
And we got 91 wins last year with a whole lot of injuries and stuff. Yep. What do you want? This article, I am so glad I did not read this article ahead of time, because it is so much crap.
Every paragraph is full of crap. There's not even a single paragraph, probably not a single sentence, that is not crap. All right, next one.
I could have written this. There is no source. Any hater can write this article because it's just hate.
Well, I believe there is someone who was somewhere close to the front office. Maybe they worked at the restaurant down below or something.
You think it's Clancy?
That doesn't like Elias. I could see that. Probably someone who was fired, who worked in ticket sales or something.
Right. Oh, you're saying it's not Sig Mejdal?
No, it's not Sig Mejdal.
Okay.
Rubenstein, I'll continue. Rubenstein, who led an investment group that acquired the Orioles from Peter Angelos last year, has expressed their willingness to spend money in free agency this offseason. However, it appears that the willingness doesn't necessarily align with Elias's vision for building the Orioles. Again, this same week he signed 2 players, but we'll move on. In addition, Elias doesn't want ownership to spend large amounts of money on free agents because it would make Elias more accountable and place higher expectations on him, according to the source. The fact that spending money would increase...
The expectation cannot be any higher for the Orioles right now. The expectation is World Series.
Yeah, and the fact that,
it doesn't matter
if he signed anyone or not. Soto or Fried or something, I feel like then the blame becomes more to the players, because the management did literally everything they could. They signed all the best players. It's harder, and there's more pressure when you do it without signing all those guys. That's what makes it harder to be a GM in small market teams like the Orioles than for the Yankees and the Dodgers. Oh man. Okay. Moving on. This is these next two, Josh. These next two. This is my favorite part of the article. The source added the Orioles' new ownership group is naive and has no idea what they bought last year. And Rubenstein himself would often defer to Elias rather than force Elias's hand.
What? An owner that defers to his GM and gives him the GM control? No. Don't we want an owner that goes and has secret meetings with the players and signs the biggest contract ever as a waste to Chris Davis and goes around your GM's back? How is it a negative that Dave Rubenstein will trust Mike Elias. How's that a negative?
I don't know. Like, that's someone who has no context, right? Of like Baltimore sports and the history of Baltimore ownership. Like, that is a plus. And the idea that they had no idea what they bought, I don't know what that means. Like, what does it mean they have no idea what they bought? Did they not realize they bought a baseball team? They have no idea
what they bought.
Yeah.
They know the team hasn't won.
Cal Ripken is part of the ownership group. You don't think Cal Ripken knows what he bought?
No, we celebrated all last year that actual Oriole fans bought the team, which means they knew what they were getting.
I don't think anyone would describe David Rubenstein, even people don't like him with how he got his money, as a naive business person. Right?
This is either a fake article or a guy who has an axe to grind.
Yeah, but this resonates, Josh. This resonates with a lot of Oriole fans as their kind of frustration with this offseason.
I figured it out. I know who is close to the front office.
Who is it?
John Angelos.
Oh, you think that's who it is? I was going to go with Brady Anderson, but you're going with John Angelos.
Oh, Brady Anderson?
What about Lou?
Lou? Is it Lou? Yeah. Could be Lou.
Yeah. No, if it was Lou and Brady, it would have been sources because they just got to go together.
Oh, true. That'd be sources.
All right. It goes on. This isn't the first time ownership has given Elias the green light to make a big splash, and Elias has declined to do so. The source noted that the former Orioles chair and CEO John Angelos gave Elias permission last year to seek out a deal to acquire San Diego Padres outfitter Juan Soto, but Elias was uninterested in the proposition. Right. Well, Josh,
did he also say, "Yeah, go get me Ohtani, but I only want to spend $500"?
Yeah, but this represents the problem, right? With this article and this mindset. I believe it's true. Like, I believe John Angelos said you can go get Juan Soto.
Right, but there was probably a limit.
Well, and what would it cost?
And maybe Soto didn't want to come to Baltimore.
Yeah, and are you going to pay 1 or 2 years of Juan Soto? Are you going to give up what, Jackson Holliday and Kobe Mayo and someone else? Like,
right, it's not worth it.
Just because you can go out and get a guy, even Juan Soto in free agency,
and you're talking Juan Soto,
it's a smart decision for your business, especially when you're a small to mid-market team like the Orioles. How is this hard to understand?
For 1 year of Soto, remember?
Yeah. So even if you had permission to, this is why I'm grateful that Mike Elias was making a decision and not John Angelos, because maybe John Angelos would have traded 3 key farm pieces that would have been here for a decade for a year of Juan Soto. Oh man.
Yes.
All right. This is great too. See, this article just keeps getting better with every paragraph. I forgot. I'm rereading this now, forgetting how great this is. The source also, Josh, you will like this one. The source also spoke to manager Brandon Hyde's role in the organization, describing Hyde as a puppet and pushover for Elias. According to the source, Hyde attempted to push back regarding the Orioles' shaky bullpen last year, arguing the team needed to get better and not necessarily younger. As a result, the team fired bench coach Freddie Gonzalez and co-hitting coach Ryan Fuller. Two of Hyde's confidence.
Wait. I don't like Hyde. I've made it very clear on here that I don't like Hyde.
Yeah. And you probably think he's a bit of a puppet.
And Hyde a puppet. Okay, I get that because you're telling Hyde follow the analytics. All right, Hyde's a puppet. I'll get you there. Here's where you lose me. Hyde thought the bullpen was shaky and thought the bullpen needs to get better. So Mike Elias' response was to fire Freddie Gonzalez and Ryan Fuller.
And the co-hitting coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he wanted a better bullpen, well, I'll prove you. I'll fire your bench coach and a co-hitting coach. Yeah. This doesn't make any sense.
It's dumb on 2 levels. One, it doesn't make sense to fire other coaches if you're mad at that coach. That doesn't make sense.
No.
Like you're petty and get back at his friends. The second thing that doesn't make sense is that the whole thing that you wanted to, even the whole disagreement that they wanted to get better. And not necessarily younger. What does it do with the bullpen?
Right.
We were we traded for veteran bullpen arms. It's not like we were bringing up 18-year-olds to pitch in the bullpen. We brought in Sir Anthony Dominguez and Gregory Soto, and we brought in veterans into the bullpen.
Right.
So I don't know what that even means.
And if you were mad at Hyde, you could have fired Hyde. You could have easily fired Hyde after this season and say the team fell apart in the second half, did really bad in the playoffs. We really need someone that can push us over the next level.
And even if there wasn't a disagreement about the bullpen, like that doesn't seem fireworthy.
No, there's always disagreements.
Yeah. That's okay. All right. Anyway, and then it goes on. The Orioles lost two major pieces of
you just somehow made me defend Hyde.
Yeah, this is good. See, this is turning us into a Hyde and Elias lovers. The Orioles lost two major pieces in their 2024 roster and free agency this year, starting pitcher Corbin Burns.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I want to talk about that today, too.
Whom they got for Hall and Ortiz, and then Anthony Santander. Given recent free agency deals for the major pitchers, they talk about Fried for $218 million, Snell for 5 years, $182 million. The Orioles would have to pay significant money to re-sign Burns, and then it says Burns is expected to receive, according to MLB trade rumors, 7 years, $200 million, and the Giants are in serious talks. And then he does mention here in the second to last sentence, that being said, the Orioles have spent some in free agency. And talk about Tyler O'Neill.
He left out when pointing out that the San Francisco Giants have been in serious talk with Burns. He has left out that the Orioles have stayed in constant contact with Burns as well.
Yeah. I just saw a video today, an interview by Grace Rodriguez, and Grace Rodriguez is texting with Corbin Burns. So
Scott Boras is interacting with the Orioles. I think there's still
about multiple players, it seems like.
Yes. But I think there's a high chance Burns returns.
I think there's a chance. I want to go high.
I think the longer he's out there, the better our chances are.
Yeah. Pitcher List has reached out to the Orioles for comment and did not receive a response at the time of publication.
Yeah, because your pitcher's list.
Yeah. And because
nobody's heard the
article's
pitcher
stupid.
List.
If someone I just sent an article in to be published this week too with my time. I wrote an article and it was sent back, not even sent out to review. It just sent rejected because it wasn't good enough to be sent out for review, which made me tick me off.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, but that's how it would be for this one too. If someone sent me, if I worked for the Orioles and I wanted to respond to every kind of something people were saying, and I saw this, I would say this doesn't even meet the muster of being replied to because it's so ridiculous.
If I was, yes, and if I was to have Ben Palmer on my radio show, if I was to have Ben Palmer on a podcast, if I was to print this article, my first question for Ben Palmer would be, who's your source? You don't have to reveal it publicly, but if I'm putting my name on this, if I run Pitchers List and I'm putting my name behind this, you need to tell me who your source is.
But you understand how sources work. They can't reveal themselves, Josh, or they'll no longer be sources.
Oh, I so want to. I am so.
But the reason I would want to know the source too, my only reason being, depending on how close he is to the front office, this source, if he really said all this stuff, is such a moron. I want him fired immediately if he's anywhere in this organization.
Yeah, I guess the rumors are that
not for like speaking out and not for being a whistleblower, but just for being stupid.
Yeah, the rumors are it's a guy that moved from the Orioles to Masson because he didn't get along with the Orioles organization, so they moved him to Masson rather than just straight firing him.
Oh yeah, it screams, and I could listen. Everybody who's worked, Josh, you don't understand this right now because you don't work for the man, but I do.
No,
I mean, even at Mercer, most of my colleagues we get along well with one another, but you can always find someone who's unhappy with the dean or the president of the university. You can always find that guy all the time. Even if you work for the most, the greatest organization in the world, you can always find a disgruntled employee or former employee every time. So, and this screams of a disgruntled former current employee. But I want to throw it out here because it got a lot of traction, and I think it resonates with a lot of people. This idea of Mike Elias being unwilling to spend, even with a new ownership with deep pockets.
But there's some things I don't want to spend. Here's my favorite comment on it. The source is Jake and Lockenfora.
Yeah.
It sounds like his type of hate.
Well, he immediately retweeted it and says, like, hang this in the Louvre, I think was his comment.
Yeah, because it's his type of crap.
Yeah, he's well, it's weird because he was in love with Mike Elias until he wasn't.
Yes.
I don't really understand why, to be honest.
He probably didn't come on a show or something.
Yeah. I think hate gets more clicks sometimes than praise too. Yeah, but Josh, like for example, the Max Fried contract. Okay, 8 years, $218 million deal from the Yankees. The Orioles have deep pockets. Isn't there fair criticism to say, like, why can't the Orioles do that deal? the Max Fried deal or the Blake Snell deal?
We could. And that's why I do think we could. I think we do a Corbin Burns deal. I really do.
Yeah.
I think even with this Japanese pitcher, and we'll talk about him in our rotation, I think we still sign Burns. I'm going to hold out hope. I know a lot of people want to assume Burns is gone, but I really think we could do a 7-200. We could do a 7-210. We could do 30 a year, and we could make that work. The team is profitable. We're winning more games, which means people are going to come back to the stadium. Yeah, I would think our offseason's not done yet. And I really do think the Orioles sign Corbin Burns.
All right. If they don't, though, Josh, I think there's, and again, this article is turning me into a Michael Elias apologist.
If they don't, they will have a comparable pitcher. Maybe not Corbin Burns, but they will make a move, a trade, or something to fill that. Yes.
I think so, too. Yeah, I mean, something the article leaves out, and I think our boy Pigtown Sports, I think he pointed this out on X, the fact that we've traded something like 13 prospects. We've traded 13 prospects.
We've traded prospects.
So this idea that Michael Elias is a prospect hoarder and doesn't trade prospects, just last year. I mean, for Jaden, for Corbin Burns, for Zach Eflin, like we obviously trade prospects. If you don't think we trade prospects, you're not paying attention. Now, do we trade our number 1 and number 2 prospects? No. Does anybody trade the number 1 and number 2 prospects? No, nobody does, because it's too much value in those deals.
Right.
So I think that criticism's unfounded. I also think that there is an argument to be made for not signing Max Fried, in that we don't have unlimited money, and you want to keep your options going in the future.
Yes.
Right. So if you sign Max Fried, that would prevent you from signing Corbin Burns.
Right. Agreed. And I think Corbin Burns is what you want in this, not Max Fried. Did you kick out your laptop? You just froze up, didn't you? I can't. Matt sent me this article earlier in the week.
If the contract.
And I didn't even read it because I knew it was going to irritate me. You back, Matt?
Yeah, I'm back. Did you miss what I just said?
I did. Please say it again.
Oh, I was just saying, like, the deal with Max Fried, there's reasons not to do it.
Yeah, it's going to lock you up long term.
Right. And with all this stuff, it's not just about this offseason. It's about extensions for current players. It's about what's available to trade them. It's about what's available next offseason.
Yeah.
Right. So our payroll is already up to 110 million. That was fast. And it's going to continue to climb. But it's not going to go from second to last in the league to the top second. I think we're going to finish somewhere in the middle of baseball in terms of payroll. So we still have some room. And Corbin Burns actually would put us right there, I think, in the middle in terms of payroll. And I think that's where we end up. And so, yeah, cool the Jets here. I think we're heading the right direction. I think we have deeper pockets. But just because we can doesn't mean we should with all these contracts. And the Corbin Burns is going to be interesting to watch.
It's December 18th. There's plenty of time in this offseason left. And I'll say it again, Corbin Burns. I really think he returns because it's you know what you're going to get from that guy. Right. So I also think if we signed Soto this offseason, that would have been exciting. But it wouldn't have made sense at all for this team. And we knew that from the beginning. As much as we all wanted Soto, we knew it didn't make sense for this team.
Yeah. No, I agree. So let's talk about the signing we did make. And then I want to ask this question to you, Josh. I'm curious to see if we feel like, could we roll with what we have now, or would that be a disaster? So we signed Tomoyuki Sugano. I apologize to that reviewer who said we always mispronounce names.
Yeah. Can we call him Tommy?
Yeah. Tomoyuki Sugano. Anyway, right-handed pitcher, won a bunch of awards, 2-time winner of the equivalent of the Japanese kind of Cy Young Award.
And the perfect style pitcher for this team.
What does that mean?
He's a ground ball pitcher.
Okay, pitches the
He
contact.
pitches the contact, but ground ball, weak
contact,
infield contact. We've got a strong infield.
Yeah, the stats was last year. So last year he threw 156 innings, walked only 16, and allowed only 6 home runs.
Right.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So a strike thrower, has 6 pitches, doesn't throw overpowering, like low 90s fastball.
Yeah, 94, 95.
I saw 92 is where I saw.
All right.
According to Jeff Passan, who broke the news. And it says nearly 2/3 of his pitches last year were off speed. So there was a lot of slider, curveball, split finger.
But it works. And it
was
really
effective. I mean, 15-3 record, 1.67 ERA. Again, kind of a legendary pitcher. Sugano, as you know, is well known and respected as being an elite pitcher in Japan.
Right. So hopefully it can translate.
Yes.
And if we can get that same stuff, I know the ball's not as sticky and stuff when you come over here. But
there's also the issue with 6-man rotation versus 5-man rotation.
Yeah, but we might have enough that we could space him out on a 6-man.
Yeah. The age actually bothers me less because I feel like age affects velocity more than other stuff. And he's not really relying on velocity.
And so I'm not really worried about Tommy John when you're not throwing that hard or anything.
Right. So maybe less susceptible.
Yeah.
To pitching injuries. Where does he slot into our rotation here?
I think he slots in 3.
So who do you have 1, Rodriguez or Eflin?
I have Eflin 1, Rodriguez 2.
Okay.
And then I'd put this guy in 3. Of course, Burns would jump to the top and everyone push back a segment.
Right, but right now.
Yeah, right now I've got him behind Rodriguez.
All right, so Sugano is 3, and then what, like Dean Kramer right behind him?
Kramer, yeah.
Yeah, all right. And then we can list a bunch of names for the 5th starter.
Right.
Josh, right now, if we rolled with this roster, is this the playoff team? Like, how confident do we feel with this roster right now? If we were done, let's say we were done, are we okay with this roster?
I am okay with this roster. I'm not excited about this roster, but I am comfortable that this will get us through games. And I am comfortable that if Gunnar builds on his season last year, if Adley comes back, that the offense can carry us. I guess is how I feel. I feel this roster could keep us in games, but this isn't a roster where it's not going to be super low scoring games all the time. So I'm going to be relying on our offense.
Right.
We have enough guys on this team that no matter how, if we roll out, I'm going to believe in them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to believe they can do something.
The Yankees got better. Boston got better.
Yes.
We're still feeling good.
I still feel okay.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like this team, if we rolled with this roster right now, I think it relies, as you pointed out, it relies on a good amount of ifs, right?
Yes.
If Jackson Holliday can take the next step offensively.
Yep.
If Grayson Rodriguez, I think Grayson Rodriguez has the potential to be
a number 1,
an ace, a number 1. He hasn't been so far. He's been good.
No,
but he's had injuries and inconsistencies.
It really is. It's everyone in this roster taking that next step in progression.
Yes. I feel like some guys are veterans. We know what we get with Dean Kramer, right?
Correct.
He's good. He's fine.
Yes.
We kind of know what we get with Zach Eflin.
But we got a lot of guys who we hope their career years they haven't hit yet.
Yes.
When
you got Jackson
Adley,
Holliday,
Jackson, Gunnar,
Colton Cowser,
Jordan Westberg.
Yep, all these young players who we assume will take the next step, though we know in baseball it doesn't always happen.
Even Ryan Mountcastle.
We moved in the wall for you, dude.
Right, exactly.
Kobe Mayo, Heston Kjerstad.
Kobe Mayo, Kjerstad. These guys all have to have better years, but the progression is that's what we were expecting by now. That's why we're here.
This is the hiccup that happened at the end of last year, right?
Yes, and health.
Rutschman didn't.
Health
it worked for
is
some
a big
guys,
if,
but it didn't work for our young players.
No, Adley took a step
with
back.
the exception of Gunnar and Jordan, obviously.
Jordan got hurt. That a month without Jordan was a big impact.
That was impactful. Yeah.
Our pitching staff got destroyed by health last year.
Yes. Yeah, and it does feel like Batista's also returned. Like I've heard some people say, and I get it, like logically, you lose Burns, you lose Santander, you don't replace that. It feels like you're taking a step back in your organization, but I don't think it's that simple.
No, you got Batista. How many games did we not be able to lock up at the end of the game? Where now we feel comfortable we can.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I mean, we suffered through this all last year. That's why I went wild at the trade deadline. We never had a closer that we could rely on all last year. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
And then and we're talking, you mentioned about not having a 6-man rotation and it being an adjustment. Well, we also are going to get some health back in our pitching staff, hopefully by July, which could be enough to push us there at the end as well with some of this health stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, I mean, we could try to play this out and stay kind of in the race till June.
Yep.
And then maybe make a trade, and then you get health guys coming back, like Tyler Wells and
now all that to say, I do believe either the Orioles will sign Burns or they will bring in another pitcher.
I think there's one more pitcher. Yeah,
we're going to add at least one more pitcher on that top side of the rotation.
Right, I agree.
I mean, it's
a guy better than Chagano.
Right, yeah. It's going to be Burns, Jack Flaherty, or we make a trade, I think.
I hope it's not Jack Flaherty.
I know, but Flaherty looked good last year. We just got bad Flaherty.
You did. But yeah, there's been a couple. I mean, Dylan Cease has been brought up a bunch.
As far as a couple
pitchers
option.
For Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's been pitchers mentioned.
Remember, one thing with Mike Elias is there's never a rumor. You never hear a single rumor that then eventually comes true from a Mike Elias move.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like this Saguna guy. I had never heard his name before. And then that pops up. The 2 guys we signed the day before the winter meetings. There wasn't a single rumor that we're looking at those guys. Yeah. It just happens.
Yeah.
There were no rumors about trades last year. They just happened.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Even Burns. We signed Burns last season. There was no rumor. It just happened.
Yeah, I feel like the rumors, not just the Orioles, it seems like less and less do rumors happen. There's less leaks, it feels like.
Yeah, well, there's a whole lot more opinions that people are trying to present as rumors. Yeah, so then it washes down all the actual rumors.
Yeah. There was a significant trade for an elite starting pitcher, and that's Garrett Crochet was traded finally from the White Sox.
Yes.
For Kyle Teal, Braden Montgomery, Chase Medroth.
They gave up a good amount for him. Gonzalez.
Yeah. I was listening to, what was it? The Baseball America? No, Baseball Prospectus. Ben Bader. Is that the guy? Anyway, the podcast that covers all these prospects. And they had Boston as the best farm system in the American League East. Like times are changing. The Orioles are no longer the top farm team in baseball.
And that's what happens. I mean, that's how it goes.
So they traded, and it wasn't their number 1 and number 2 or number 3 prospects. Like they didn't trade their top 3 prospects, right? Because no one does.
Right.
But what they did do is they traded 2 guys who were in the top 100, right? And like we have, I think 3 guys in top 100, Kerstedt, Mayo, and Basayo. But we have no one in the top 100 outside them. So the Red Sox had the top 3, and then it still had other guys in the top 100.
Which is where we were a few years ago.
Yeah. So they had these prospects to trade 4 prospects, 2 in the top 100, and get this elite pitcher. It reminds me of the Corbin Burns type thing.
Right, TL Hall and Ortiz, yeah.
Yeah. Which they were able to do, and we're not able to do because we don't have the same depth of prospects. And so, but Garrett Crochet was for multiple years. So maybe we'll have to get somebody with less control, kind of like Corbin Burns just had 1-year control, just to get us through next year. But yeah, big haul for Garrett Crochet. But again, we also saw the Cody Bellinger trade. It seems like the Yankees, the Max Fried deal, the Yankees have gotten better, the Red Sox gotten better. So it does feel a little bit like the pressure stacking to keep up with the Joneses here in the AL East, but there's still time.
Agreed.
All right. So it seems like, though, in terms of free agency and starting pitching, it seems like Corbin Burns has to be the next shoe to drop, right? And then everyone goes to their second and third options. But it seems like the Orioles would not pursue, for example, Sean Manaea.
No.
Unless the Corbin Burns thing was not happening.
No, I think it's Burns, Flaherty, or a trade. I think that's it.
Yeah. All right, because, and I just wonder how many other teams are like, certainly the Giants are there. I've heard rumors about Red Sox. Man, I hope Corbin Burns doesn't sign with the Red Sox. But I feel like several of these teams, before they move on to other options, they want to see what happens with Corbin Burns.
Yes.
I mean, Josh, Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer are still out there.
Yeah.
But no one would call them a 1 or 2 at this stage.
No, they're not a 1 and 2 as much as
5. Yeah.
No, and this is the problem where I love Max Scherzer, you love Max Scherzer, but he's a number 5.
Yeah.
And you know what? If we can get Max Scherzer as our number 5, I'd love it. It'd be fun. But
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I feel like nothing's going to happen between now and Christmas, right? We're into January now. It feels like. I feel like a lot of deals don't happen in this time of year.
No, nothing until January.
Yeah.
And then, it's really wait on Burns. And the longer it takes with Burns, the better I feel.
Yeah. There seems to be. I just want to touch on this too. Scott Boras, talked a lot in the winter meetings, and you pick up and you run with what you like, and you kind of ignore the rest. He said things that like the Orioles are very active in wanting to keep their players, their current Orioles, long term. And I mean, famously, Gunnar Henderson is a Scott Boras client. So everyone goes there. He also said, though, so if you want to run with that and say these guys want to stay, the Orioles are trying to extend Gunnar, go for it. The other quote he said, though, if you kept on listening, he said, when asked about the Juan Soto deal, about kind of getting that huge payoff for Juan Soto, does that like encourage you to want to take these players all the way to the end of the contract? In comparison, if you look at a deal like Bobby Witt, Witt is making like 20 a year or something. Looks like a complete steal.
Yes, he does.
And Scott Boras said, like, that's always my advice for players is to take it out to the end.
Of course.
To get the most money.
And isn't that
and so that's what he's telling Gunnar. He's telling Gunnar, wait.
Well, and we knew that. That's why as fans, we don't like Boras clients because we know he always tells them to wait and wait and wait because it's how you get your most value. And it depends what's important to you. If it's important for you to be the face and be set for 10, 12 years or to hold out.
Yeah, and have that job security and maybe get paid more now up front.
Right.
Gunnar Henderson's not making much money right now.
Or the Trout move is, I want the security. I want to be the face. I want to be here. And maybe it helps me get a championship.
Yeah. But it seems most players, and I assume this would be true with Gunnar, that they'll just wait. And so we'll see.
So
we'll see. Is Adley a Scott Boras guy? I forget now. I know Gunnar is. Is Adley a Scott Boras
I do
guy?
not think so. But I think Jackson Holliday is.
Oh, no, it's not.
He is Dan Verdeblieb.
Okay.
Verdeblieb.
All right. So maybe we can pursue that.
But he is for Scott Boras is at Jackson Holliday.
Oh, he's Jackson Holliday too. That's right. Yeah.
Which means he's probably. Do you think he's going to be the agent for Jackson's brother as well?
I would imagine so.
Was he the agent for his
dad? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but there'll be a little battle there between who can get the bigger deal between the two brothers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Matt Hollidy's agent was Boras.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice family. He's made a lot of money off the holidays.
Yeah. He could. Oh, yeah. He could live well just off the holidays. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. What else we got? Anything else for the good of the cause here?
That's it. That's all. I mean, that's the Orioles news this week. Is we're waiting on Burns and this stupid article.
Yeah. Well, and the signing, I think that's
true. Actually, and I'm excited about that. It felt like a good move for the Orioles.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like coming in, you felt like this team needed two starting pitchers. And this is the one that we needed because there is some question marks. I mean, how much do you trust? I mean, we can go down the list of Povich, Suarez, Rogers. There's, McDermott. There's a bunch of guys in that fifth list, and I like them better as maybe a number 6. And so this is part of pushing those guys down, and because you also have injuries, like you can't have enough pitching depth. We saw that last year, obviously,
right?
And so just from a depth perspective, and also just like quality pitchers and pitchers you can trust. Like people talk about 35 being a negative. That'll be 35 going into the season. I look at that as kind of a positive. This is a guy who's proven he's done over a long period of time, unlike a Povich, a McDermott, a Rogers, some of these other guys we're having this like the veteran experience. Also, Josh, I'm just saying, is there any element too of, I mean, have we had a Japanese player since Hyunsu Kim? Has that been our last Japanese signing? Does this open up the opportunity for future Japanese players?
I don't
want to go all Roki Sasaki on here, but
Sasaki, I mean, is that what? How close is Sasaki and him?
I don't know. But rumor is Sasaki's ready to sign somewhere. So that could be another big thing to drop in the coming weeks. So
I mean, that'd be quite the 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, you get Sasaki, Josh. We can forget about Corbin Burns. Honestly, we're good.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, that's a good offseason. We can pack up. My class can pack up the bags then and say we're good. Let's get ready for 2025.
Sure. Well, let's see that happen.
All right. Well, as we said, there's multiple ways we can do it. We just need another top rotation arm, and then we're set. Santander still doesn't sign too. Are we? We're not. Are we kicking the tires with that, Santander, or did we get Tyler O'Neill and we're moving?
No,
on?
I think we got Tyler O'Neill and we're done.
Okay.
Ken Rosenthal wrote in The Athletic that this sign-in might open the door, be a realistic pursuit now for the Orioles for Sasaki.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a tough sell because we're on the East Coast.
Yes. We
don't have a history of signing Japanese players, really.
Yeah. And they said Segona signed with Baltimore because he wanted to be in a championship contender. And I guess, I don't know, he and Drew French had a good conversation.
Yeah. Well, it seems like, Josh, what can we offer that the Dodgers can't? Like, maybe you could say...
Nothing. That's the problem.
What, can I say one thing, maybe? Is it possible that they have too many starting pitchers? And there's like, you could be concerned that you could get bumped and not...
Yeah, or just lost and you're not the face.
Yeah, lost in all those arms and you're always in Ohtani's shadow. Is there an element of like also opportunity? And you could see, I can be the opportunity to be...
Well, and
I don't know. Do people care about being a 1 or 2 starter?
Well, I'll tell you, this article says Sasaki wants to be the face of his first MLB team. And that would not happen with big markets like the Dodgers, Yankees, or Mets. It's saying that Baltimore has a chance because of that.
Well, that's interesting. I never heard that before.
Yeah. Various Rumors is who they contributed it, which I think Various Rumors
is
what...
Josh wants no business with a source, with a mysterious source, but I think various Rumors, Josh is all in on.
Various Rumors is one step below a source, I believe.
Yeah. But you believe these various rumors and you don't believe the source.
No, I don't believe any of it. I'm just saying we signed one Japanese guy. He needs someone to talk to.
Yeah, but it has to be that perfect storm where it has to be a guy who's willing to go to a small market team because he wants to.
He wants to be the face. He wants to win.
He wants to win. And when we got that, if you want to be the face and want to win, like you will be, you can be the ace. We'll throw you in there as number 1 in game 1.
Right.
We are built to win for the next decade and we have new ownership.
Right.
Yeah. This, like logically, if you just care about winning and being the face and not being caught up in all the the wash. You don't care about location, living on the West Coast.
Don't you want to
I think you make a good argument for Baltimore.
I think so too. You don't want to be on Ohtani's shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking myself into this. But what about like how we compare to someone like Boston?
I think, I believe you told me that Boston's a bunch of white racists. So you wouldn't want to go there.
I think they are. I think that's true.
I think that is at least the rumor and what people. that is the
stereotype. It's a stereotype. Yeah. But also, Josh, like just look at recent track record. We've been more successful on the field than they have.
Yep, we're on the come up, and again, we've got Saguna.
Yeah. The argument could be, Josh. I think the one remaining question that a guy like Sasaki might have is, well, is this team in it? Is this team going to be willing to spend money to put them over the hump, right? Because we know we are, because David Rubenstein's here.
Oh no! Hope they don't translate that article we just tore apart.
I hope if we don't sign Roki Sasaki because he read that article, then Ben Palmer needs to be something. I'm not gonna.
No.
I'm not gonna say he should be fired. I don't want anyone to be fired, but I feel like he should be banned from entering Camden Yards for the rest of his life. If Sasaki gets interviewed and said, I was going to sign with the Orioles. I read that article, and Elias just wasn't serious about winning and spending money.
We'll put up some clown signs for him.
Yeah, I'm sure Ben Palmer's a fine guy.
I'm sure he is too. I'm sure we've probably even interacted with him at the past. I doubt he's related to Jim.
I doubt that's the case. True too. All right, let's get out of here. I think we are we going to do it? We probably won't do a show before Christmas. We'll do a post-Christmas show as we're going to be in person.
I think we're going to be together.
Maybe get the Zany one on the podcast.
Yeah, I believe he will be there too. I think around New Year's. New Year's Eve, New Year's. I think I'm going up there like the 29th.
All right.
Something like that. So I think maybe that's when we record our next episode and we do it in person together. I'll bring some mics and we can probably get the Zany one as well.
All right, that'd be a lot of fun.
As long as he doesn't go roller skating or anything.
Yeah, he's a bit of a wild card. But, all right. Sounds good. Well, if we don't talk to our listeners before then, we wish everyone a very Merry Christmas or a happy holiday. Whatever your preference. We thank you, everyone, for listening. We encourage everybody to, if you haven't done it yet, what are you waiting for? Go to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, write us a review, give us 5 stars, tell us how much you love us so everyone else can see that and listen to the show as well.
Yeah. Right? Help us out. Help us grow as we get into the new season.
Yeah, these are exciting times in Birdland, and we wanted this podcast to grow as the Orioles grow and keep on winning. All right. You can follow us on all your social media platforms. You can follow us primarily on X at Section 336, and you follow Josh on X
at Josh Soroka.
All right. Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go O's and go Ravens.